Well, if there was ever a time to dress to impress, then what better place to do it than on one of the biggest wrestling shows of the 2000s, possibly one of the biggest wrestling shows ever, at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. For All Elite Wrestling's first ever pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, the crew had managed to create another atmosphere very similar to WrestleMania and managed to harness some of that independent spirit that actually was half the reason why it managed to come to fruition in the first place. AEW's story still has tinges of the fairy tale Cody and the Young Bucks spun ahead of 2018's seminal Chicago Super Show, but the extent of the billion-dollar machine behind them wasn't so hidden the second time around. TNT will air their television. Wrestlers have actively sought them out from inside Vince McMahon's empire, whilst this particular pay-per-view set out to prove that WWE's termination of the very concept in 2014 was fundamentally flawed. First impressions counted more than ever for many of the new faces and heels that lit up the MGM Grand Garden Arena last night, and rightly so, to be fair. No good putting your best foot forward if your boots aren't going to match your tights. I'm Adam Nicholas, and these are the 10 hidden meanings behind AEW Double or Nothing attires. Number 10, Tommy Dreamer. Sporting a Keeping the Dream Alive t-shirt and his polka dot baggy trousers, Tommy Dreamer went for the fitting, emotional and sentimental pick last night in the buy-in Battle Royal. Smashing half the roster with bin-laid headshots before Jimmy Havoc came along and stapled his ballsack and then dumped him out of the action, Tommy Dreamer has probably ticked enough boxes tonight to win over the fans and make sure he keeps his latest job for life. Number 9, Ace Romero. The Mammoth Independent star sported some superb AEW-themed gear and made the most of his biggest opportunity in the process. Romero had his AC moniker splattered over his impressive and excessive trunks like it was Marco's stunt after that sensational pounce. There was no mistaking him or his brand anymore, even if he doesn't make a point of sticking around in AEW full-time. Number 8, Emi Sakura. Emi Sakura wasn't on the winning side in the 6-women tag, also featuring Aja Kong, Hikaru Shida, Riho Abe, Ryo Mizunami and Yuka Sakazaki. More on her next. But she was the queen of quality clubber on a show without a ton of obvious contenders. Going full Freddie Mercury, Sakura's yellow jacket, mustache and microphone combination all showed off her flamboyant and performative side, which was a stark contrast, to be honest, from the absolute shit-kicker that she managed to portray once the bell rang. Number 7, Yuka Sakazaki. Magical girl Yuka Sakazaki made good on an aesthetic inspired by the recently revived and revamped live-action version of Aladdin, with her clothes paying homage to Princess Jasmine's attire from the Walt Disney classic. In keeping with the sentiment of most wrestlers working this show, she's even got a t-shirt with the gimmick adorning the front that will likely top her pay after an impressive effort in the eye-popping Joshi 6-person match. Number 6, Cody. Cody played into his self-styled Napoleon complex with gear that matched that of the Emperor, but his new clothes didn't just extend to his entrance attire. Shortly after smashing a King of Kings throne to pieces with a sledgehammer in an entrance piece that will surely trigger Triple H, the grandson of a plumber revealed an Attitude Killer weight belt in a callback to the promo he cut to set this up, and the mission statement in general for his vision of AEW. Number 5, Dustin Rhodes. With the word natural down his spine like the shivers of those fans who popped at the sight of the former Goldust head dripping with blood during the match, Dustin Rhodes was all versions of himself with a colour scheme that foreshadowed the grisly shortcut the siblings took in their absorbing war. Now that attire was really nice, but the only thing that could have possibly made it better is perhaps if it had been white, because can you imagine all of that red blood coming out of him and completely transforming the colour of his gear? But nevertheless, I think there was enough white canvas there for everyone to see the contrast and juxtaposition of all of that blood, and that was quite a lot of it that came from Dustin's head and went across the ring. Number 4, the Young Bucks. Rocking Elvis Presley jumpsuits in the place where the king himself had become immortal, the Young Bucks returned to Las Vegas in the same way that the classic crooner once did during his Sin City 1970s pomp. Matt and Nick Jackson's modus operandi was to let the wrestling world know that the self-appointed stewards of all tag team wrestling were back on the scene, and echoing the king with their attire was a great way to make said statement. Number 3, the Lucha Brothers. The commentary team confirmed that Penta Jr. and Rey Fenix had wrestled 42 times as a unit in 2019, standing in stark contrast to the Young Bucks' understandably low return since January 1st. Their perfectly matching attire spoke to an unusual aesthetic unity that perhaps should have scored them a renewed run with the AAA World Tag Team Championships. Now, unfortunately, a win on the night wasn't to be for the Lucha Bros, but if there is a little silver lining in all of this, and I like to think that somewhere along the line there probably is, at least their threads looked as unified and impressive as their eye-popping, head-dropping offense. Number 2, Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega mined his vast video game well for another inspired entrance attire mirroring some of the classic New Japan Pro Wrestling ensembles he's introduced over the years. His turn as Kirito from Sword Art Online on such a historic night for pro wrestling carried with it the character's own heft. Kazuto Kirito Kirigaya was the main protagonist in the first ever, Jesus Christ, this is going to be hard to get right, virtual reality, massively multiplayer, online role-playing game. I think that was right. And that protagonist was making waves, much like the best bout machine Kenny Omega hopes to make with his brand new adventure in AEW. And number 1, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho paid tribute to his entire career in a fabulous retrospective review entrance that we've since learned was helped created by none other than Cody Rhodes, and I think he's done a pretty good job there, until Jericho in fact put literal fragments from this history onto his attire on his way to the ring. Sporting dull bulbs and jagged bedazzled decorations on a wild leather jacket with a scarf underneath, Y2J brought elements from all ends of his career to Double or Nothing. His tights even appeared to pay tacit tribute to former friend and legendary opponent Chris Benoit, though consider that perhaps some strict speculation on our part. So there you have it, that's our list on all of the hidden meanings we could find from attires at AEW's debut pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. But as always, there's probably a ton we've missed and my eyes are literally falling as we speak. So just let me know your thoughts and anything else that you thought that we missed in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and share, hit the old subscribe button if you haven't already. If you want to find the original article for this, you can find that by Michael Hamflett at whatculture.com/WWE. You can follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. You can follow me on Twitter at It's Adam Nicholas, or if you just want some more videos, hopefully there should be some over here. I'm Adam Nicholas, and I will see you next time. Don't know what I was doing with my hands there, but we're going with it anyway because it's too late.